Ladies and gents, hello and welcome. My name, of course, is Potato, and welcome to Evil Democracy 1932. So this is a strategy simulation type game that is actually made by the same people that made Evil Bank Manager, which is a game that I enjoyed thoroughly. A little bit difficult to get your head around, but, you know, it's a pretty darn good game. Is this game the same, or indeed better? We'll find out. Right, anyway, there are three scenarios that you can jump into. Right up here, as you can see. Now, just because the game is called Evil Democracy 1932, you don't have to start in 1932, and indeed, we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be starting in 1936 in France, and then we go through to this screen, and we can choose which party we will indeed play as. Now, each and every different party has got a different level of party support, and also party financing. I'm figuring that we're going to play as the Popular Democrats, just because, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a challenge, and I do indeed want a little bit of a challenge because I think it'll help display some of the features of this game to its best and fullest potential. Also, the music doesn't seem super time specific, but that's okay, I guess. Anyway, Popular Democrats, it's a 4-star challenge, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. Low party support, low financing, an initial budget of 100k. We're going to stick with an initial budget of 100k. Not going to be easy, but as I say, it'll help us demonstrate exactly what we're after. Right, so this is the game interface, and immediately, as you can see, very, very similar sort of structure to Evil Bank Manager. Now, there's a couple of different things that we should do in the first instance, and they are indicated over at the right-hand side of the screen here. As ever, I'm going to try my best to tutorialize some of the elements in the game, and we can just chat about how things work, etc., and eventually I'll show off all of the features that help make this game. Anyway, assign a leader to the post. That is super easy to do. So we head into the leader tab, which is also down at the bottom here. And as you can see, we can appoint a bunch of leaders to a bunch of different positions. We'll talk a little bit about how these different leaders, when they're assigned to these different positions, give bonuses. But for now, we just need a party leader, a general party leader. And Mr. August Shampoo, I think, is indeed our chap to be the leader. So there we go. Appoint the leader as a newspaper editor. Sure, let's do that. You are gonna indeed be the leader of the newspaper edition thing. Sure, we just need a leader. Let's get you in place there. Now, we can indeed hire a couple of different people, and I will indeed do that. But for now, we're just gonna have Mr. August Shampoo. As you can see, there's a bunch of different traits, which we will talk about as we go. But for now, we've got a leader. That's exceptional. Cool. All right, so let's chat about votes, sponsors, staff, budget, and income per turn. It's pretty self-explanatory. In order to win the game, you need to get a whole bunch of votes. Sponsors help with fundraising. Staff help with increasing the number of votes that you have. The budget, obviously, the amount of money that you have in the kitty, and your income per turn is your income per turn. Down here, we've got the different levels of support that each party has. The SFIO has got 8%, so that's currently the party to beat, and indeed that's going to be the one that we are going to try and displace as the leading party. As you can see, we've got 299 turns until the election, so that is a substantial amount of time. So we got a lot of time to turn this party around. Yeah, so that's pretty much all of the information on this screen at the moment. It's quite a dumbed down version, I would say, of Evil Bank Manager, at least from what I can see anyway. But that doesn't really necessarily mean that it's a terrible game. Okay, let's jump into hiring journalists, because that is what we need to do. We're advised to hire 3 journalists. So indeed, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can find 10 journalists. It's gonna cost me 2.5k in order to do that. But what I actually want to do is I want to hire a bunch of different journalists who are kind of skilled in different areas. So you can see name, salary, etc. And then here we come to the skills. So there's skills with regards to newspapers, with regards to leaflets, regards to investigations and interviews, and the price to hire them. Again, we'll talk about all of this as we go. But for now, what you need to know is that I want to hire the best people in the job, in the business, in each category, if indeed that's possible. Yeah, so we'll hire like 4 people. That's 4 people, and I think that that's going to be absolutely a-okay. Okay, so that's all that we really need to accomplish over the course of this turn. However, I'm going to hop on into the print, nope, not the print media screen, the editorial team screen, which is where we can talk a little bit more about where we go from here. So these are our current journalists. As you can see, we just hired them. That's great. They've all got these different skills, which is exactly why I hired them. Now, the interesting thing is that you can actually assign different journalists to different roles within the editorial team. So it's kind of difficult to wrap my head around anyway, but leaflets and newspapers are completely different things. Who knew? Anyway, so if I want somebody to occupy the role of leaflet production or leaflet content production, I guess, then I would like to choose somebody who has a good leaflet skill level. So indeed, you are indeed the chap, Jean-Jacques Lou. I can't even see his second name, but that's fine. Okay, and similarly, newspaper. We want to get somebody who's good with the newspaper skill. You've got 6. Have we got? That's literally it. We don't have anyone who's good at newspapers. Seriously, we don't have anyone who's better than that at newspapers. Okay, well that's a bit of a bummer, but there we go. I guess I did a pretty terrible job of hiring people. I don't really want to fire the employee at the moment, but I do want to fire you. There we go. Fire you, and then that leaves 1 chap free. Now, you'll notice that we don't have other open slots in the newspaper at the moment. We can indeed do that. However, it's going to cost us 500,000 currency in order to unlock this slot. So, yeah, we're not exactly in a fantastic financial position, but, you know, over the course of a couple of turns, we will build up, we'll build up a little nest egg, which will be quite nice. Okay, so that's the editorial team. You don't really know what the leaflets or the newspaper does at this moment in time. However, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that in a little bit. What else have we got to talk about? Oh, yes, we've got to talk about staff. So, there's 3 different types of staff that we can get. We can get campaign staff, promoters, and activists. Now, each and every one of these members of staff have a slightly different role. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a second, but that's something that we'll need to increase over the next wee while. Leaders, we've already discussed. That's excellent. Dogmas. So a dogma is just a tech tree, really. We can choose a bunch of different policies which help create our platform. Now, I mean, I think political equality, equal political representation for all. Center-right, my ideology, cool. Increase in profits. The party's funds have increased by 15%. So this is the positive effect that we get from embracing this. And the negative effect is the staff salary has increased. Salary expenses for the staff, except journalists, are 5% higher. Well, we don't actually have any other staff apart from journalists at the moment. So you know what? Let's accept the dogma, and we can get started on that immediately. The map is the next thing to look at, and again, the map is very, very similar to the map in Evil Bank Manager. You'll note, in fact, it's a very, very similar map, except it's seemingly being constrained to, you know, the UK, France, and Germany, because that's the 3 scenarios that you can choose. Anyway, each and every region has got a bunch of different stats. So, for example, you can see our level of support in, where are we? Burgundy at the moment. Yeah, you can see our level of support at the moment. We've got 9,924 voters, 135 sponsors, for a total of 10,000 votes. Something like that. Okay, you know, that's fine. The cool thing is that when we actually get some agitators, so agitators will actually increase our votes directly. Yeah, so citizens are attracted to agitation, and we'll talk a little bit about it as we go. But yeah, so we can hire agitators. We can dispatch them to different regions of the country, if indeed that's what we want to do, or, you know, we can just send them equally to all regions, proportionally to the voters, etc., etc., etc. We can dispatch members of staff as and when we please. Activists as well. So this is another way that we can modify voters' perceptions. And sponsors. This is just a list of all of the sponsors. Voters, we've already talked about the stats there. Headquarters, we head back to the headquarters. The last button that I didn't click on was protests. So we can actually schedule protests, and there is a leader that we can assign to strengthen these protests, which is something that we would definitely look to do. These demonstrations, these strikes, these protests, etc., they all cost us a certain amount of money. but they will give us a bunch of voters. And you know what? I like voters because I want to get into power. So there you go. Anyway, I think that just about does it for this first turn. So I'm gonna head on into the next turn, and we will be faced with an option to circulate newspapers and circulate leaflets. So here's the thing: is that each and every turn you can, if you've done a specific bit of journalism, you can add it to your newspaper as an article, and we'll get to that in just a second. However, for now, I think what we want to do is we just want to hire 25 promoters. We'll do that. 25 of our promoters will be involved, and we'll circulate a bunch of newspapers. That's kind of cool. It's going to cost us 50k. Excellent. Let's do that, and that hopefully is going to lead to a couple more voters coming our way. That would be real nice, wouldn't it? Okay. Here's what we want to do next. Give a reporting assignment to a free journalist. So you know how I talked about currently the slots are all locked? Well, that's not a problem at all, because we've got a free journalist, and we can assign this journalist a specific task. So we can get him to interview Mr. August Shampoo, which is kind of fun, isn't it? We can get you to interview August Shampoo. Excellent. Thank you very much. Don't know why it takes us a while to click on it, but that's fine. You're not exactly a brilliant investigator, gotta be honest. However, you can do your best, and that's going to take a couple of turns in order to be complete. But once that's complete, we can stick it in an edition of our newspaper, and we can boost our appeal even further. Okay, what else do I need to do? What else do I want to do? Not much this turn. You know, we've got 294 turns, so we're actually in an okay position, I believe, at this moment in time. Do I want to have a little look at any reports? Not really. I think we're in an okay position at the moment. Rating number 1, votes from the electorate, 482,000. That's pretty good. Surely I'm not the most popular. I don't believe that. I bet you it just hasn't updated. That's fine. Right, hire any number of agitators and send agitators to start campaigning. Well, video game, you read my mind. I've got 225,000 in the bank. Why don't we use some of that money to hire some agitators? Let's indeed do that. Let's go and hire a couple. I don't want to hire that many. We're gonna hire. We'll hire. I mean, what's the cost per turn? Income after hiring 122,000. I mean, that's pretty darn good. It's going to cost us 225k to hire 450 agitators. Well, why don't we call it an even 400 agitators, right? It's going to really deplete our cash reserves, but I think it'll be totally worthwhile. So let's do that, and then let's send these agitators just out over the course of the entire map, actually. We'll just send them all. Right, I'm going to send all of them out equally to all regions. That seems fair, doesn't it? Yeah, let's go. Sure, absolutely. Okay, great. So 18 agitators in each and every region, which is very, very, very nice. We are seventh place by total number of agitators. So it looks like we've got far and away the fewest agitators in most regions. Is that something that I can really do anything about? Not really. Third place by total number of agitators. I mean, look, I'm gonna get more agitators. Don't you worry about it. Don't you worry about it. We did lose a couple of thousand voters, but don't worry about it. We'll sort that out in just a second. I'm very confident. Yeah. So we lost a couple of voters because we're not doing anything. When we're just waiting around, waiting for stuff to happen, usually that transpires in a decrease in the number of voters that end up voting, which is fine. Okay, hire 3 more journalists. We're being advised to hire 3 more journalists. I'm not entirely sure that that's a wise course of action at this moment in time. I'll show you exactly why. Let's find one person. Sure, you're actually the perfect candidate. Congratulations, welcome on board. I would love to give you a task. However, I can't actually get you to do anything else apart from just interview Mr. August Shampoo at the moment. So what I think would be a better use of our money is to actually hire additional leaders to perhaps interview them. Alternatively, maybe we do a compromising material assignment. That might be something that we could do. Or alternatively, we could slander another party. Why don't we have a little look to see if we can try and find Yeah, compromising material on the largest party at the moment. That sounds like a good idea. Tell you what, let's see if we can find 2 additional journalists. Yep, you're pretty darn good, and you're pretty darn good too. I'll take you both. Congratulations. Yeah, who else? Who's rating number 1? There we go. Compromising material. We're all about compromising material here. I don't know why it says rating number 3 when you've got more voters than... Right. That doesn't really make sense. But whatever, you know, find a whole bunch of compromising material on absolutely every one of those political parties. That would be fantastic. Okay, I don't want to do anything else with my money over the course of this turn, so we'll go to the next turn because I want to hire another leader. Video game, you're so great at suggesting things to do. Okay, so who do we want to hire into what position? We can hire somebody into the strike position, which will increase the effectiveness of strikes, or sponsors, or treasurer, or elections. Select the leader to falsify the results of elections. Do we really need to hire somebody to do that? I'm not entirely sure that that's a good idea. I mean, what I would like to do is to hire a treasurer. That sounds like a good idea. I mean, I don't really know where all of this money's coming from. We're getting 111,000 per turn, but I've got no idea where that's coming from. So what is the quality that we need in order to get a good treasurer? I don't even know. Charisma, determination, eloquent language, or level of belief, leaving the party when 0 is reached. Okay, so it turns out that you don't really need any qualities to be a treasurer. That's fine. Also, you know what I've just realized? It costs 1.2 million as opposed to what I thought was a factor of 10 less. I did not think it cost 1.2 million in order to do that. Turns out we're actually missing $1 million, or $1 million currency, I should say, in order to hire a new leader. So you know what? Why don't we just go to the next turn? Print a circulation of 1 million newspapers. Look, steady on, video game. I have almost no money, and I need another leader. Like, this is definitely something that I need. It's worth noting, by the way, that the number of voters is seemingly holding kind of steady. It increased last turn, and then it decreased this turn. Should I hire 24K? I should probably buy some. I should probably buy some newspapers. And maybe leaflets as well. Should we do both of those? What's that gonna cost me? That's gonna cost me 150K. You know what? Hire a bunch of additional promoters. That's fine. And give me 100K of leaflets and newspapers. Sure, that's great. So that's gonna give us a whole bunch of new voters. It's gonna give us a whole bunch of new sponsors. So it'll probably, hopefully, maybe pay for itself at some point, and will maybe allow me to reach my financial target of 1.2 million very, very soon. I'm literally just going to click through next turn until... There we go. Sure. Let's do 25. Sure. Do that. We can do repeat circulation, which I may do, but I won't yet. Also, we'll talk a little bit about this next time that we get the opportunity, but I can add custom-produced material to my newspaper whenever I want to. Okay, let's get the leader on board. We need a brand new leader. I know we're hemorrhaging voters at this moment in time, but it's oh so important that we get a secondary leader on the team. Okay, who are we looking for? Probably the best individual here. I mean, that's obviously who we're looking for. I mean, party loyalty figures, I'm suspecting that the higher the better. Maybe Nicholas Tremonton. Sure, Nicholas Tremonton, congratulations. What is this? Is this going to give me a straight up cash bonus as soon as I appoint him to the position of treasurer? I may very well do that. Yeah, so treasurer actually tests all 4 qualities, which is kind of interesting. Very, very cool indeed. So sponsors also tests all the qualities as well. Cool. Okay, so different roles test different qualities. Who'da thunk it? Okay, I'm gonna choose you as treasurer. Congratulations, you've been appointed as treasurer. What does that actually mean? I don't know. I don't think it gave me straight up cash, but I guess that's okay. I guess that's totally fine. Right, so next let's have a little look at printing some stuff. We can't use it for 3 turns. That's totally fine. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. It turns out that appointing that dude as treasurer literally just gave me 100 and whatever it is, 14,000 extra per turn, which is really, really nice. So instead of faffing around with this, why don't we see if we can just hire a couple of new staff? Activists, really unsure, frankly, what activists do, but that's fine. Let's hire 561 agitators, okay? I am 100% doubling down on my agitation workforce right now. Oh, actually, hold up. Activists. I mean, sure. We'll send out some activists next turn. Indeed, we'll see exactly what that does. But for now, let me see if we can try and do some agitation. How many agitators do other parties have? Wow. Almost 15,000 agitators. That is a major bummer. You know what? Why don't we withdraw 100% of our agitators? We'll take our agitators back up to 961. And then maybe we see if we can send them like to one specific area. Okay, send them all equally to different regions. See if we can make like an inroad into a certain region specifically. So this region right here. 25%. I mean, can I not send them to a specific region? Is that not something I'm allowed to do? Okay, we're just going to have to dispatch them all equally to all the regions. That's fine. Cool. All right, well, we'll get activists next turn. That's grand. And let's progress to the next turn then, shall we? I want to do a protest, and I want to do a protest kind of really soon. But it's going to cost me a heck of a lot of money. Like, I need to get myself in gear financially before we start faffing around with protests and stuff, I think. Okay, what am I looking for in a newspaper? To be honest, let's try and just circulate as much as we possibly can. This is going to be our biggest publication yet, and you know what? We're going to hire a bunch of extra promoters to make sure that everyone can get a leaflet, everyone can get a newspaper. It's going to bring in a whole bunch of voters and a whole bunch of sponsors. Excellent. I'm actually going to add articles to this, which is kind of cool. We've got a whole bunch of stuff. I would like to add an article into the newspaper. Let's add as much as we possibly can. Articles slated for the next edition. Let's get you in board. Let's get you. Sure. What does that do? Get that in. That in. Get that in. Just throw everything in. Does it even matter? Just throw absolutely everything into the newspaper. You can't really go wrong, can you? You can't really go wrong. Okay, that's going to cost us 274,000 to print. That's kind of the maximum number that we can push out at this moment in time. It cost a heck of a lot as well, but that's kind of okay. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get a couple of additional sponsors. Also, Corsica? Is that French? I'm like 90% sure that that's an Italian island. However, the more that I think about it, maybe it wasn't in 1936. No guarantees on historical accuracy there. Okay, but everything else is looking pretty good at this moment in time. Let's go to the next turn. We're going to go from 462,000 voters up to what? 469,000. Lovely. And we also completed our first bit of research. We got the political equality dogma done. And so now we can move on to something else. What do we want? Attract voters. 6% of regular voters from all regions have become your supporters. I mean, that's pretty good. The cost of organizing protests has increased. The cost of organizing a protest has increased by 7%. I mean, that is really good. Decreasing the cost of printing. Wow, the cost of printing leaflets has decreased by 20%. Yeah. Okay, great. However, it's going to make one of our junior leaders slightly more negatively inclined towards the party. Let's go for equality among the people. Sure, let's do this. 6% of voters for all regions have become your supporters. Nice and simple. Let's do it. Okay, do I want to see if we can try and maybe get another junior leader? I mean, I'm just really, really keen to try and get a protest underway. leader. How much does it cost for a leader? I think it costs 2 million for the second one. Oh my giddy aunt. Okay. Well, we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do it. Is it worth me just spending all of my money on newspaper circulation? You know what? No. Let's not spend all of my money on newspaper circulation. Let's just do a couple. It's only going to cost me 107,000. Again, I might put it on repeat in the future. Actually, no, I'll put it on repeat now. That's totally fine. Let's leave that on there. It's going to cost like 100,000 every couple of turns, so, you know, no big deal, right? Okay, but for now, we need to try and increase our budget up to 2 million, and we want to hire another leader. And I would like to hire... What did the strike end up testing? Or the sponsor end up testing? I think it might have been charisma, I believe. So let's hire you, because you seem pretty darn good. Yeah, it was you. Okay, great. So you can now become the sponsor king. You're actually pretty good all-round chap, which is kind of nice. And so that'll give us a bonus when discussing with sponsors. So I think that might lead to a little bit more cash, or if it doesn't lead to more cash, it'll lead to an increase in the number of sponsors that we're able to accrue. Right, so we've done pretty much everything apart from hire activists. I'm going to hire as many activists as I can for the 392,000 that I've got at the moment. Now, I would like to make sure that my income after hiring remains somewhat substantial. So let's hire 500 activists. Let's call it an even 500. Or as even as we can get. 499 seems totally fine. Let's do it. There's 6.5 thousand activists in the country, and 500 of those are going to be ours, which is, you know, it's kind of exciting, right? Anyway, that is by far the largest chunk. Can I hire one activist? I really can't hire one activist, and that's deeply distressing to me. Yeah, so it costs a heck of a lot of money to maintain this. However, we're going to do it, and we're going to smile about it. We're going to be happy about it. Let's go to the map. Let's look at activists. Excellent. And let's dispatch all of our activists equally to each and every region. Oh my goodness. We are now the #1 in each region by the number of activists? I simply don't understand that. The fight for influence begins in 269 turns. Okay, so I suspect that maybe activists are only essential during the last couple of turns before elections, if that's the case. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense why other parties have not sent out more. But you never know, they might do that over the next wee while. Yeah, because as you can see, the number of voters that I have is just continuing to decrease at a rate of knots, which is very, very worrying to me. I need to get more sponsors on board. I really, really do. However, look at that. Our finances are actually perking up in a major way, which is really, really cool. The number of sponsors that we're getting is increasing at a fairly rapid rate, so that's really, really good. Yeah, so 3 turns until the printing press is reloaded. I believe that because it's just on auto print, we should never really have to worry about it, but you know, we might choose to update our edition at some point soon. Yeah, give me the editorial team, please. More compromising material. Maybe we want to hire another journalist. Maybe we want to open another newspaper slot. If you'll recall, the journalists that are actually employed, like within these slots, just generate free stuff, which is kind of nice. Free journalists can write articles that can be published when printing, so like these guys right here. So, you know, increasing the quality of our newspaper would be pretty great, if indeed that's what we want to do. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to hire a brand new journalist for the job. Who is it that we want? We want somebody who's really good with newspaper skills. Let's hire, or let's get 10, and then let's have a little look at this. Ooh, we're beginning to get more high-quality individuals, which is very cool. Okay, so newspaper, I think, is the role which we're after. Let's hire that person. There we go. You are excellent at newspapers. Brilliant. Can I hire somebody else that's great at newspapers? We can hire you. Can I get you replaced with you? Excellent. Okay, so the salaries are quite large. You're fired. I'm sorry. But that's okay. That's completely fine. All right, next turn, we get to do the printing press thing again, which we will indeed do. The quality of our newspapers should now be super duper high, which is great. Okay, so we want to turn off repeat circulation, and then we want to see if we can maybe change the edition of our paper, or change what we're putting in our paper, because now we've got better journalists, right? Okay, remove that all from there. What have we got? We've got random parameter +6. I mean, that's great. That's really, really good. So this is going to make our leader more popular. Party budget loss. Sure. Sure. Is that it? Fine. Okay. Put that on repeat circulation. Hire as many people as we possibly can. Put that on repeat circulation. I mean, that is a lot of money that we're committing to spending. I mean, just about 400,000 every 3 turns. However, I think it's going to be totally worth it if indeed we do that. Okay. There we go. Look at that. 464,000 voters. That is really, really great. And, you know, the number of sponsors that we're getting is increasing each and every turn, which is absolutely brilliant. Let's immediately try and transition those sponsors into more campaign staff. I really want to increase the number of agitators that we have just lying around, because the Republican Federation has got 25,000 of them, and we've only got 2.2, which is not great. So let's try and throw down a bunch more people. It should hopefully mean that our voter decay doesn't happen quite as fast. There we go. But as long as the number of sponsors that we've got is increasing each and every turn, then I'm going to be quite okay. There is a little bit of a problem in the fact that we now are spending so much on newspaper articles that I suspect we are maybe not going to be able to get enough. Yep, as you can see, we're doing repeat circulations too often in order to accrue any sort of reasonable pool of money. So you know what? Let's do something like this. Let's keep it on repeat for a while. We'll do another interview and a few more bits and bobs. We should really see if we can try and increase the quality of our newspaper further by maybe unlocking a new slot. There we go. Sure, get a bunch of these things down. Just throw them in. Just throw them into the publication. It doesn't actually matter. There we go. Excellent. I'm sure that's great. Okay, let's go with that. Excellent. So that's 891,000 currency in the bank at present, which is good news indeed. The dogma's about to be done, which is going to lead to a huge increase in the number of voters that we've got. However, I'm also going to hire a bunch of new staff. Yeah, so we're going to hire 1,700 brand new staff for about $800,000, which is a huge amount of money. I keep on calling them dollars, but they ain't dollars. Right, agitators, let's send out all of these individuals. Great. Maybe I should send them out proportionally to the voters. That seems like a sensible thing to do, but alas, here we are. We're not even on the list yet. Popular Democrats ain't on the list when it comes to party supporters. Nope, no siree. It's not great. Okay, the dogma's done. What do we want to work on now? The cost for protests has decreased. Attract sponsors. 5% of the sponsors in all regions have become your sponsors. I mean, that sounds like a great deal. Sponsors, as it turns out, are pretty darn important, and is one of the ways that I think we win this game. Look at this. Look at the number of voters that we're getting. Holy cow. Holy cow. Look at that. Look at that. Holy cow. Finishing that dogma really did make a huge difference. It's increasing literally every... That increased by 30,000 that turn. What? Another 20,000. Another 20,000. Oh boy. Our sponsors and our voters are just going crazy. Okay, sponsors did decrease on that turn, but they increased on that subsequent turn. What the heck is happening? What the heck is happening? We're still not in in the top 5, but that's okay. All right, should we try and hold a strike? I think we should try and hold a strike. That sounds like a great idea, Potato, doesn't it? That sounds like just a brilliant idea, the best of ideas. Okay, Francois Sodbury, congratulations. Congratulations, you don't have the job. It's going to cost us another $1.5 million in order to get to that next milestone that will allow us to hire another leader. But that's okay, because I'm going to do that because I need to. I don't need to, but I want to. Right, so let's hire somebody who's got a high charisma level. Alfred Duo, apparently you've replaced... Oh no, Francois Sodbury's still over there. That's fine. Alfred Duo, you're better in almost every way. So, you look very strangely like Winston Churchill, Alfred Duo. You sure you're not masquerading as Winston Churchill? Maybe you do... I don't know, Winston Churchill lookalike competitions at the weekend. I don't know. You do you, my dude. You do you. Anyway, that's looking nice. So he's pretty exceptional. Now we just need a bunch of cash in order to run a protest. There we go. Man, we're in a great place. We're in a great place in terms of voters. We've really ramped up our support recently. Okay, I'm not going to do any more repeat circulations. I'm going to see if we can try and add an article. You know, do a couple of articles about the leader. And then another slanderous article about my opponent. Very, very nice indeed. Do I want to throw big money into this one? Kinda, actually. I do. Yeah, you know what? Screw it. It's the biggest... It's going to be the biggest circulation of leaflets and the biggest circulation of newspapers possible. But we're going to do it. We're going to throw all of our cash into that kitty, and we're going to do it. All right, let's go and have a little look at the editorial team. What do we need? We need $1 million to open up the next level of newspaper. That's fine. After we do that, why don't we look at hiring somebody better to do the leaflets, and then we'll just get as many people working on the newspaper as we possibly can. There we go. Okay, we're up to 903,000 voters. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. That's actually pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. We can't be too displeased with how far we've come. I mean, we have quite literally doubled the number of voters that we've got. And yet, still, I feel we just don't have enough activists. That's fine. We'll deal with that in a second. What was I going to do? I was going to hire some more people to the editorial team. Cool. Okay. Let's hire 10 journalists. Oh, excellent. We've got people that are much better at the newspaper now. So, let's have a little look-see. Who's got the best newspaper level? You. Congratulations. You're better. And you're better. Sorry. You're all out. You're all kind of garbage. I'm going to replace you as well with somebody better too. There we go. Grand. And should I give you some tasks? Sure. Let's do an interview with Alfred Duo. Compromising material. Slander. Let's do a slander piece on this guy, on this party here. I think the rating system is supposed to be the party with the most, or the next most votes above you, because we've got about, what, 903, you can just about see through there, 903,000 voters, and they've got 971,000 voters. So maybe if we try and knock them off their pedestal, then that would be good. We'll give it a shot, right? It's worth a crack. Okay, so the quality of our leaflets, the quality of our newsletters have increased tremendously, but it seems to me, anyway, that dogmas are the most effective way. Dogmas are the most effective way of just getting votes, right? Or is that just me? Okay, let's go big on the whole printing newsletter thing. Optimal circulation, sure. Let's do an optimal circulation. Will that make a difference? Optimal circulation, print the maximum number of articles. Great. Total price, 500,000. Excellent. Let's do that, and let's be happy about it. Wow, look at that. Look at that. Literally 100,000 brand new voters, which is kind of nice. That might in fact take us up to rating of number 2. I think that means that we're no longer the lowest of the low in terms of the number of voters who will vote for us. I think that's what it means anyway. It's kind of difficult to tell. I mean, usually you'd expect to be rating number 8, if indeed I was the least supported out of all 8 political parties, but no, apparently not. That's not the case. All right, you know what's great is the fact that we're just continuing to gain sponsors, and I have absolutely no idea how. I think, honestly, having this dude in charge of the sponsor effort is just brilliant. So, very happy with that, to be honest. I'm going to hire a bunch of additional campaigners. I mean, they're costing me a lot, but it's worthwhile, right? 1,700 brand new agitators. Let's do it. Okay, I'm actually gonna save up. I'm actually gonna save up for a protest because I do wanna do that. Let's send agitators absolutely everywhere. Look at that. We are now 6th. We're now 6th in some regions. 6th in some regions. So that's kind of fun. Excellent. Okay, next turn. Next turn. Next turn. Next turn. Right, how much is my budget? Am I doing repeating circulation, or am I still okay? We've just finished our... what is it? 5% of all sponsors in all regions have become your supporters. That's kind of great. I love it. Our number of voters has increased as well. I'm looking for something which gives me money. Raise the status of the party leaders. One of the parameters of the party leaders is increased to 160. We're losing support from our regular voters. I mean, I don't want to do that. The party's funds have increased by 10%. The cost of printing has increased. Ooh, that's not something that I really want to do. Raises the status of the party leader. One of the parameters of the party leaders is increased to 200 by 10 through 20 turns. The cost of organizing protests is increased by 7%. Okay, I'm going to do that because I'm anticipating organizing a protest before then. So it should be totally fine. Right, protest. How much do we need for a protest? What? The cost of a protest is already increased before the ideology or before the dogma was even implemented. That's a bit of a bummer. Well, we need 2.2 million in order to get there, so I guess that's what we need to wait for. We need to go back to the headquarters and cancel our newspaper circulation because that is costing me 1.1 million because we're just going for the optimal circulation each and every time. So I'm going to hold off on doing that just for a while. I know it's going to lead to the loss of a couple of voters, but it's kind of important that I do it. Okay. One more turn. There we go. Excellent. Let's go and run a protest, and then we can get back to printing newspapers. How about that? How about that? Right. Map. Protests. Let's organize a demonstration in what? The north, the south, the west, or indeed the east? I suspect... I mean, proportionally, it looks like... maybe this is the best place for us to do it? Sure. Let's organize a protest right in there. What is that actually going to end up doing for us? It's a great question. We will, we'll have to find out. Cool. All right. Next turn. Let's immediately get back to printing, shall we? Optimal circulation, print maximum articles. Cool. New voters. Between 47,000 and 116,000. That's exceptional. New sponsors between 477 and 1,100. I have no idea why that's the case, but I'm very delighted that that is indeed the case. Super excited that that's predicted to do so well for us. So I think that with the optimal circulation turned on, that'll just sort of repeat forever, which is kind of nice. I should also see if I can try and hire a couple of new journalists, because I feel like the stats have probably increased since the last time that I looked. Indeed, they totally have. Let's see if we can try and hire some brand new newspaper gurus. Let's also see if we can, like, get some more interview gurus as well, because we haven't really prioritized that. Also, some investigation gurus. Anyone that's a guru, basically, I'm interested in employing you. Congratulations to the guru people. Okay, you are gonna get fired. All right, stop. All the compromising material stuff is all done. Okay, so let's get you replaced. Let's get you replaced with somebody who's a little bit better. Replaced. Cool. Replace. Cool. And replace. Also cool. Okay, so who is the best at interviewing? I would like interviewers. So 27, 29, 30. Okay, you're 30, so let's get you to interview August Shampoo. There we go. Congratulations, you've got the job of interviewing August Shampoo. Also, let's interview Alfred Duo. Yes, the man, the myth, the legend. And then I'm gonna fire you. Fire you. Fire you. Fire you. Fire you. Fire you as well. Fire you as well. Fire you as well. You're kind of garbage as well. Everyone else, nah, you're kind of garbage too. Okay, I'll keep these guys. So, you're doing interview, you're doing interview. Let's do compromising material on... What a lame party, eh? USR. Let's try and bring USR down to my level, shall we? All right, so now we're utilizing the investigation qualities, both of which these gentlemen seem to have very, very high figures for. So that's great. Very, very happy with that. We're still not in the top 5, but that's absolutely a-okay. 196,000 per turn is not bad at all. How much does it take to unlock the next level of newspaper? 2.5 mil? I mean, honestly, 2.5 million is, I think, a good target. Also, what happened with that protest? I have absolutely no idea. What is this? Power belongs to the elite. 5% of sponsors in all regions have become your sponsors. I mean, sure. That sounds okay. What is this? Harsh punishment for petty crimes. Increase in profits. I don't really want to lose any regular voters, to be honest. Increases loyalty towards party leaders. Again, does that really make that much of a difference? It might make some difference to the treasury. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. All right, let's do that in there. Sure, we'll just attract sponsors, even though we will lose support from our regular voters. I still think that's a worthwhile thing to do. The more sponsors, the merrier, really. I mean, that is the way to win this game, apparently. Okay, so keep on increasing our budget, and then I'm going to take a little break next turn. Yep, because we did have 2 million, and I kind of don't want to do that for much longer. Nope. I don't want to spend anything on newspapers this turn because I want to get 2.5 million in the bank. Nope. There we go. Nope. This is what I wanted. 2.5 million in the bank so that we can unlock the next slot for the newspaper. I'm going to hire some journalists as well. 5 journalists, that's fine. Newspaper quality. Party doesn't have enough resources to hire a journalist. I mean, that kind of sucks because we don't have the money to do that, but that's fine. We can just go to the next turn. It's a-okay with me. Let's go back to the editorial team. Hire the journalist. Oh, we need to hire a different journalist now, but that's fine. You're actually much better. Cool. Excellent. Plus 31. Okay, so the quality of our newspapers are phenomenal. They really are very, very good. Why are the quality of our leaflets limited? I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. No idea whatsoever. But that's totally fine. Let's queue up optimal circulation again, because apparently that's just a really easy way to automate the production of quite a high quality newspaper. Why would anyone not go for optimal circulation? It's a great question. I don't know. Probably because we don't always want to spend all of our money, which is what apparently happens most of the time. But we're up to, you know, we're up to 1.3 million voters voting for us, which is quite nice. We're also rating number 3, which again makes me think that we're no longer the worst party, or the second worst party even. We're just now the third worst party. The Democratic Alliance is on 9%. I don't even know the stats for the Democratic Alliance. How do we tell that? I don't even know how you can tell. There is a way in the map screen, I think. Voters. Nope. Not even here. Democratic Alliance. I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there is a way, but it escapes me completely, and it's not very transparent at all. So there we go. Okay, next turn. How are we doing? One turn until we've got a refreshed newspaper look. Indeed, that is the case. August Shampoo, look at this. Random parameter increases by 8. So, our leader should be... He's pretty decent now, actually. He's pretty darn decent. So, we're building up these leaders each and every time we publish an article, which is really, really nice. The strikes, do we want to do another strike? The fact of the matter is that my understanding of exactly what strikes do is kind of highly questionable. I suspect it might just gain us this number of voters and this number of sponsors. If that's the case, it seems much more cost-effective to pretty consistently run newspapers and run newspaper features as opposed to doing demonstrations and strikes. I guess there's an element of having a secondary strike leader as well, so we can get somebody in a backup position. It'll only give us a 50% bonus to the strikes, but we could definitely do that. I mean, you know, if we were to move our newspaper chap to, you know, strikes over there, then we could probably make that happen. 5 million for a brand new leader is a pretty large amount of money, though, so not sure how I feel about that. However, I do feel good about the fact that we are making a significant amount of money per turn. There we go. Okay, are we still on optimum? Okay, so next turn, because we're printing the newspaper this turn, we should see our voters increase tremendously. Oh my goodness, look at that. Did you see that? Did you see that? Oh my Gideon. It was like a 400,000. In fact, it might have even been more than that. We're now rating number 4. What? We're actually on the list. Oh my goodness, look at that. Support is at 11%. How crazy is that? Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. That is really, really, really rather nice. Do we want to hire any more journalists? I mean, I feel like we may be able to get a couple of higher quality journalists now. Level 34, congratulations. You are going to replace this dude here. And are you good at anything? No, you just be fired. Sorry, buddy. Okay, let's hire some more staff. Let's hire some more campaigners. Income after hiring, 455,000. Yeah, wowzers, we're making a lot of money. We are making a lot of money. Let's immediately dispatch all of these agitators. We're still not in a great place, actually. Proportionally to the voters, 25% of the regions have the lowest percentage of our voters, 25% of the region that have the highest number of voters. Proportionally to the voters, let's send 100%. Let's do that. Okay. See if that makes any difference to the number of our votes. It doesn't. We're still looking for that magical 21%. I mean, we're not really looking for a specific magical number. It's more, you know, we're looking for the largest number. You know, it's not a complicated setup. Anyway, how much did we just spend on that mailing? I say mailing, newspaper / leafleting. Quite a lot of money, 1.7 million. 1.7 million. Oh my goodness. We have got far too many articles coming in now. Okay, just like try and increase Alfred Shampoo's stuff. Slander the competition, I guess. I mean, I frankly have no idea. Just print the maximum. Just print them all. Print all the articles. Sure. You know what? Let's just keep on doing that. Apparently, the newspaper is just the best way to reach people. Who would have thunk it? 5% of all the sponsors in all regions have become your sponsors, so we're waiting for that to happen as well. Maybe I want to take a little break from publishing newspapers because that is going to cost me 2.5 million, and I would kind of like to get another leader. Although, to be honest, I don't think I'm that bothered about leaders. The more that I think about it, the more I'm more bothered about journalists. So why don't we see if we can try and get journalists? Yeah, so let's do that. Let's take optimal circulation off and print maximum articles. That's fine. We'll wait until we get 5 million bucks in the bank, which should be not next turn, but the turn after. It's fine. Absolutely fine with me. And then we will hire our... Nope. I keep going to journalists when I mean to go to editorial team. We'll unlock that last newspaper slot. We'll hire a couple of journalists. Let's have a little look. 20. Yes, newspapers. Okay, we can't actually hire that many people, but that's fine. We only need one anyway. A-okay with me. That's great. Let's go back into print. I'm not going to send out an edition this turn, because if I go to this turn, then that will allow me to do an optimal edition, because it takes 5 turns for the printing press to refresh and get all up to date. I don't know. Whatever the case, I think this is the best way to do it. That's great. That's cool. Let's go to the next turn. Voters up. Sponsors up. Cash not up, but that's okay. 9,000 staff. That's rather a large number of people employed. From my perspective, but that's okay. Maybe it's worth me getting another sponsor. Maybe it's worth me getting another leader so that I can increase the number of sponsors that I get. That would be pretty good, actually. Maybe I want to see if I can try and move Alfred Duo into... Okay, you know what? Let me remove you from there, and let me remove you from there. Okay, and then I will reassign you in 5 turns, which will maybe in the short term lead to a little bit of a downtick in our finances. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, you know, we're relying on newspapers as opposed to anything else for our cash. Right, now you're going to be stuck into there, and then you are going to be stuck into there. So I'm not investing any efforts in strikes, because I think, as I've already said, it's just much more effective for us to use newspapers. Right, what's next? What is next? We can do freedom. The people do not exploit one another. Attracts voters. 5% of regular voters from all regions have become your supporters. The cost of printing has increased by 7%. Salaries of headquarter workers has decreased. Everyone's salaries decreased by 15%, except for journalists. I don't care about that at all, actually. What is this? Free healthcare. 6% of voters from all regions have become your supporters. Your staff salary has increased. I think I'm okay with that. Like, that's totally fine with me. I mean, we need that. Look at that. We're on 12%. We're about to overtake the next highest party. That's kind of exciting, isn't it? Okay, I need to hire some more staff, don't I? I've got 3 million in the bank. Should I hire 3 million worth of people? Let's do it. Let's hire 3 million worth of people. It's going to mean that we can only spend, you know, a little bit of money on the printing of leaflets and newspapers and whatever, but that's totally fine. I'm very much okay with that situation. I will also see if I can... What was I going to do? Oh, yes, I was going to assign them on the map. That's something that's worth doing. Activists, I'm still in first place for activists, but apparently that doesn't make any difference at this moment in time, because the fight for influence doesn't begin for another 135 turns, so I'm just paying people unnecessarily. In fact, maybe I could fire them. Maybe that's a good idea, actually. Okay, send all of these people to a whole bunch of different regions. That's great. Cool. And let me see if I can go to staff and just fire all of these activists. Oh, I might need to recall them first. Hold on. Withdraw 100%. Excellent. Go back to headquarters. Go back to staff. Fire. Yay, there we go. Fire everyone. Cool. All right, so that increases our finances quite substantially, actually. And our supporters, our voters, everyone is on the up and up. I would like to get to 4th place. That would be really, really great if that's possible. I am making like a lot of money. But again, oh my goodness, I've just slingshotted into 3rd place. You know, I'm just going to click. I'm going to click through. I'm just going to literally click turn after turn after turn after turn after turn. Because apparently I'm just winning the game without even trying. How excellent is that? Increases loyalty towards party leaders. Sure, do that. That's fine. Right, so I'm just, like, far and away in the lead now. 30%? Oh my goodness. 32% popular support. 1.5 million a turn. What the heck just happened here? I think it's time that I get a new leader, right? Yeah, let's get somebody to falsify election results or something. Congratulations. There we go. You're in the job, I guess. That's grand. Let's also see if we can hire some journalists. Let's look at getting 80 journalists. Newspaper skills to pay the bills. Let's do it. Leaflets. We need somebody who's really good at leaflets. Let's go into the editorial team. Let's get you replaced with the latest person that we hired. I think it's you, right? No, who is it? These guys are pretty good. Yeah, okay. And then let's just get a whole bunch of really exceptional newspaper people. There we go, and there we go. Okay, the rest of everyone can be fired, I guess. Don't think I'm particularly bothered about the cost that it keeps to keep these people on the books, but that's fine. Do I need to accept a dogma, to be honest? Raises the status of a party leader. I don't really care about that. Don't really care about any of that, to be honest. The cost of a protest is decreased. I don't want to lose support from my supporters. I don't want to do any of that, to be honest. Party loyalty of a junior leader. Sure. Okay, let's just continue to click through the buttons, because apparently I'm making absolute bank, and we've got more voters than ever. Every time that it comes to printing a leaflet, I am immensely popular, as it turns out. Look at that, 48%, 60 turns until the election. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. All right, just wait until we spend all of our cash on a leaflet, and then we are golden. Okay, let's have a little look at activists. The fight for influence begins in 46 turns. All right, that's cool. Turns until the election. I mean, all right. Did we win? I think we were winning, but then again, it doesn't really feel like I'm in a winning position at this moment in time. The screen has gone kind of blank, and there was a user support screen that flashed up, so I'm just gonna say officially that we won the election. Clearly, there's a couple of little bugs to be ironed out in Evil Democracy 1932. However, an interesting enough game with, you know, very similar principles to Evil Bank Manager. So, gets 2 thumbs up from me, but maybe 1 thumb goes down because of the whole situation that just happened in front of our eyes. Anyway, I think we did a pretty spectacular job there, and so we're gonna wrap this episode, wrap this little Let's Look At up. And yeah, we can maybe return to this at some point in the future when it's a little bit more developed and a little bit less buggy. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for watching. Thanks as ever to the Orbital Potato Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/orbitalpotato. Also thanks to Banana Nana and C Senpai for being the 2 $25+ plus tier patrons. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.